the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all punch that like button on your way in the building. Let your friends and family members know about the channel as well. Miami Dolphins Q&A responses. I'm going to be going through what we didn't get to cover last night because the stream shut down. So I'm going to make sure that I answer all those questions. Shout out to the Mod Squad. Shout out to all the members of the channel. Shout out to the homie Esteban in the building, Estefan. Let me make sure I mod you up. I don't know why you're not. He said, TD, why wasn't it in any of your songs? LOL, salute. I'll work on that, Esteban. I'll work on that. All right. Let me add you as a mod. But I'll work on that. Okay. Remove. Let me see here. All right, say that. All right, we good. What up, Onaron, Dolphinier, JD the Great, Andres Negron, Ryan AP in the house. Shout out to all y'all. Shark Blood Max, what's going on? Yes, congratulations to the Panthers. They got that W. They got the cup. Listen, they already putting it all up in the ocean, man. I seen them today. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's go ahead and get started. We're not going to waste time. I want to handle these because I have the huddle at 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, as you all know. So I want to go ahead and get through the questions that were asked of me and give you my takes on them, okay? All right, so first of all, starting out at the top, someone yesterday asked me about Connor Williams coming back and his potential coming back to the Dolphins. Matter of fact, let me Cock my mic down a little bit. Let's see here. Get over. Get some relaxing in. Sit back before I got to work on the huddle. What up, TD Fraud Talk? I see you, homie. Connor Williams. I don't think the Dolphins are interested at all because it's too much of a gamble. I know he's coming off of a major injury, and there was some major questions about the injury, but at the same token, a lot of teams are in discussions with him right now. The only way the Dolphins are going to be able to get Connor Williams is if it's potentially at like a league minimum or something like that. But I think that there may be a market for him in the NFL at a little bit more of a value. I'm going to be honest with you. It confuses me. It's almost like a big contradiction with the Miami Dolphins. You remember when Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer came up on the podium? I remember it was in the end of January. I was in Disney World. I was waiting in line on a ride. I forgot which ride it was, but I was waiting in line on a ride, and I had the phone to my ear while I was at Disney with the family listening to their press conference. And I remember very vaguely when they said, you know, the things kind of went south after Connor's injury. You know, not south. That wasn't the word they used. They kind of said, you know, things started to be shaky and things like that on the O-line after the injury. But what their emphasis was trying to point out that there were injuries on the O-line. But a lot of people, you know, concluded that to be once Connor went out, you know, it was a different element. And they kind of stress how important, you know, he was. But to hear them kind of say that, and then all of a sudden, we're not hearing the big interest in Connor I mean, I don't know what word I could use. It's a little concerning. It's like, bring Connor back. Like, unless you just feel like he's washed now, he's done. I mean, you got to take that risk if you can get him for the low. And I get it. If you don't think you can get him for the low, I get it. But we should be making an effort. We should be making an effort to bring Connor back. Like, Connor, man, if you get Connor, you push Eichenberg to guard where I believe he solely belongs, because I think he can develop at guard. Now, don't get me wrong. Deep down, I ain't even tripping about Eichenberg as center. I ain't tripping like a lot of people. I know he ain't the greatest center, but he's manageable at center. That's just my personal opinion. But he belongs at guard, and I think he could actually develop into a player that you can get away with for several years paying a cheap price to, because he'll never, well, at least I don't think he'll ever be great, but he can be a really good, solid, manageable piece, that fringe starter. But you bring Connor back. You put Eichenberg at the guard position, and you let Brewer and all them other cats battle for the other guard position, which might be taken. But that's what needs to happen right now. And I'm telling you, man, like, you got to bring Connor in, because Connor, dual threat, play guard and center, but at the same token, you want him at center, Armstead at left, Jackson at right, Eichenberg at guard, and then you let the rest of them guys battle for that final guard spot, and then you can pluck, you know, 2 or 3 more guys as depth, Win and all of them as solid depth, really solid depth. So I don't understand this Connor Williams situation. I think Miami need to figure out a way to get in this conversation and see if they can get a deal. And if it's about money and Miami don't want to invest big money on somebody coming fresh off of an injury like that, I get that. You know, I get that. But if that market's still there and he not finding the right suitors, Miami got to be all in on this. They have to, just my opinion. All right. Let's go. Let's keep moving forward. Next up, okay. Tour MVP season. Tour MVP season is somewhat laughable to me. because I don't think he's an MVP caliber quarterback at all. And I understand, he was in the conversation 2 years in a row. Stop. Listen, stats alone isn't going to win you in most valuable player. Stats alone get you in the conversation. Team success is important too. And I know it's a regular season award, but how are you in the clutch? How are you in the big moments? Remember, we're talking about most valuable player. I know a lot of people want to say, yeah, but without Tua, this team crumbles. I don't know that to be absolutely true. I know we ride that narrative because we've seen our backups on this team without them, and they folded for 4 or 5 games. But Tua's folded for 4 or 5 games before. Maybe if we gave them a larger sample size, they would do better. I don't know. Maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be worse. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that's almost any team, at least 25 teams, you take away the quarterback, it's tough sledding. So that's not a good argument because that would make all the quarterbacks of every team most valuable. And every year you're going to have 7 quarterbacks at the top with stats at least close to each other. One of them has 5,000 passing yards and 25 touchdowns, but the other one has 4,200 yards, way less, but 40 touchdowns. You see? So the stats that's just the beginning qualifier to get in the conversation. What really makes you an MVP is how you performed against good competition. How many big teams did you beat? Why do you think Lamar Jackson got it again with subpar stats last year? Because when he went to San Francisco, look what he did. Blew him out. When he played Buffalo, look what he did. When he played Miami, look what he did. The Lions, look what he did. Blew him out. And I understand they play other defenses, but he ain't had that problem like they did. So team success and how you play against big competition is one of the biggest factors in being the most valuable player, being an MVP. Otherwise, if it was just about that stuff, then Brock Purdy should have won it. And truth be told, I don't even really think he was in the top 3. This was the year everybody was debating, should McCaffrey or Tyreek maybe get it? So that tells you it ain't about stats, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a beginning qualifier. And Lamar even crushed that by not even having the stats. I agree, Q. Stats plus big moments, to put it shortly. Exactly. So unfortunately, Tua's typically absent the second part of that, big moments. Tua don't have those. And big moments have to happen prime time against mano-a-mano, great team against great team. And then you get a bigger weight on those games when they're late in the season and something's on the line, like playing for positioning or whatever it may be. So Tua MVP season, he should have the stats. But we're all waiting on him to get over that big hump of the big moments. Now, some people will be like, oh, you just trying to move the goalpost. But let me be clear about something, ladies and gentlemen. Tua has failed so much in the big moment that one big moment of him finally succeeding, we don't know when it'll be because it ain't never happened, but one big moment of him finally succeeding still won't be enough. It still won't be enough. He has to like this year, right? And let me pull up on our schedule real quick. Let me pull up our schedule. I'm going to show you what needs to happen. Miami Dolphins schedule. So let me show you what needs to happen, right? I'm going to show you the big games. Week 1 Jaguars. It's not a big game, but it is an important game. Just like last year versus the Chargers wasn't a big game, but it was an important game. and he won in a shootout, which was good. Unfortunately, it didn't mean much when the season was over because the Chargers were one of the worst defenses in the league. Week 2 versus Buffalo at home. Big game. Now it's week 2. It ain't a heavy-weighted big game, but it's a big game. Division rival, prime time, the world watching you. It's a big game, but it ain't a heavy-weighted big game. Like something's on the line and it all matters. But it's a good way to rev your engine to get people looking at you. On the road, Seattle, same situation. Early in the season, on the road, good, solid team. It builds your resume, but it doesn't qualify. At home, Titans, not a big game, don't qualify. If we lose again, it's just sad. I mean, we shouldn't be losing. I know we can't get over the hump with the Titans, but it ain't a big game, and it's a night game. It's not a big game, though. Monday night. Go out there and show the world we can have some fun and win. Don't collapse again. But I know people want to make that a big game because we keep losing to them. It's not a big game. Now, they're a better team. They're more competitive, but they still ain't ready to compete with us, even though they beat us with less. I'm just saying, technically speaking, right? It ain't it. Patriots game, not a big game. No one cares. Beat them. Colts game, on the road, Colts. Solid game, but no one cares. Arizona at home, no one cares. No one cares. So far, here we are, right? 7 games in the season. And the Buffalo game is the only big game, and you got 2 tune-ups like those are solid. That's Jacksonville and Seattle. And I guess you could put Tennessee in there, but it ain't nothing to me, right? So you got one game that means something that you need to clock in, that Buffalo game. Now, November 3rd, Buffalo on the road. Huge game. Huge game. On the road, can you bring that fire to them? And don't let you have lost the first one. You have to win this one now. Because if we get swept by Buffalo, it's no different, ladies and gentlemen. You ain't doing nothing in no playoffs. Buffalo is your indicator. If you get swept by Buffalo, you're going to be a trash playoff team again. I don't care what you do in the schedule. Massive game. That second Buffalo game, way bigger than the rest. I'll be at that game, by the way, in Buffalo. At least that's the plan. Next game, Rams on the road. Night game, 8:15. On the road. See, that's a big game because, first of all, and they're a solid team to me. They made a lot of good acquisitions and stuff like that. But let me tell you why it's a big game. In Miami, it's going to be 11:15 p.m. because this is a night game on the West Coast. Nobody's talked about that. This is on the road, 8:15 p.m., which means, if I'm not mistaken, wait, am I? Okay, never mind. Okay, it's 8:15 our time. It's nighttime. I was finna say, if it's 8:15 in LA, it's 11 something here. How does that work? No, they corrected the time. So 8:15 on the road, Rams, noisy stadium. That's a big game. That is going to be a big game because it's going to be the epitome of the NFC teams, and they are a well-rounded team. Now, you know how I say big weight, little weight, big games, like that first, like it's not as big of a weight of being a big game. This is right in the middle. This is like your solid win. This is your solid win. You beat the Rams on the road. Yeah, I like that too. Like, and remember, when I say big game, remember he got to play well in all these. Some of y'all looking at it as a win-loss. No. I'm not talking win-loss. I'm talking about you showed up to the party, you played big time, and whether we won or lost, you wasn't the reason we lose, and you helped us win. Either or. That's the only way you get the check mark. If we lose, you did not contribute to it. And if we win, You contributed to it. That's what I'm talking about. So when people are like, yeah, but we beat a good playoff team last year in the Cowboys, 5 field goals, miss me with that. Miss me with that. Okay. The next week at home versus the Raiders, not a big game, but I'm terrified about that game because I feel like that's the team that's going to do us like Tennessee last year. But not a big game. Next week, the Patriots at home, not a big game. On the road, Green Bay, Thanksgiving weekend, 8:20 p.m., massive game. Massive game. Massive game. If they healthy, massive game. In Green Bay, cold weather, altitude, Jordan Love, Flores boy, massive game. Now playoff picture is starting to show. Massive game. Then we go back home versus the Jets. 11 days later, time off and everything, 11 days, huge game. You at home, you can't go down to the Jets at home. You got to deliver. You don't deliver that, that's a big failure on your behalf. Big failure. So here we are, 2 massive games in the last 6 weeks. Then you go on the road to Houston. Huge game. Not massive to me, but it's huge. Because I don't expect you to get them all, right? But starting that run, you got to take care of Green Bay on the road in cold weather. Get rid of that cold weather theory. Jordan Love, on the road. Massive game. Then the Jets for the first time in the season at home. Your best chance to beat them is at home. You got to do it. Texans on the road. You ain't got to win that game, and you ain't got to be great either because you're going to lose, and nobody's expecting you to win them all. That's what nobody asks, Tua to win them all to become great all of a sudden. But it's a big game, but it's okay if you may, not be your greatest, as long as you took care of Green Bay and the Jets. But if you ain't take care of them, it makes Houston more massive, but you pretty much already kind of failed by then. So Houston's middle of the road important, and things happen. I can't expect for you to win them all. Now, December 22nd, 4:25 p.m. in Miami. In Miami. San Francisco 49ers. Massive game. You know what I don't like about the placement of that game? Everybody's playing hard in week 16. Everybody's playing hard in week 16. There ain't no team resting in week 16 because they still got 17 and 18 to determine if they want to rest. The 49ers giving it they all because they're going to be battling right there with Eagles and everybody for the top spot. They coming to win. And Miami the same. Massive game. Massive game. Just as big as Green Bay. And on top of it, we're like the same team. We're speed, their power. You want to be able to graduate over them because we already see they blueprint ain't working, won't get over the hump. At least they've getting postseason. But if you lose that, that's a huge indicator of the Miami Dolphins. Massive game. Massive game. Then on the road versus the Browns, once again, fighting for playoff positioning in the AFC. Browns are going to be right there fighting, trying to be in the playoffs or win the division or the conference. I don't know, but they're a great team. And it's 8:20 at night. Nighttime game. Massive. This game right here is probably going to determine a lot in the AFC. Massive game. And to close out the season, January 5th, on the road versus the Jets. I don't know what the game is going to be because I don't know the implications. Maybe we got 16 wins at this point and we can rest because nobody within 2 games. And it won't matter. Maybe we don't know, but I'm going to tell you it's more than likely going to be massive. is most likely going to be a huge game. The biggest, potentially, depending on how close everyone is. So listen here. The last 10 games of the season, technically you got 8 huge games out of the last 10, but let's say 7 because I put the Texans is not that huge. And it's sad. I'm only doing that because I'm throwing in a game where, things happen. But technically, if we want to be like to the T, 8 of the last 10 are huge. Bills, Rams, Packers, Jets twice, Houston, San Francisco, Browns. 8 of the last 10. The only 2 that I didn't count out of them 10 is the Raiders and Patriots. And man, don't let the Raiders be that team that sneak one in on you. So MVP season, I will say this. The schedule's built for him to have it, but will he have it? Only he can show us that. I don't see it. But who knows? Who knows? All right. Let's move on to the next one. How much time I got? About 22 minutes. Let's move to the next one. Tua's contract. Ain't nothing else been popping. Same old, same old. Again, you'll get the breaking news eventually. I know people are saying the longer we get along, TD, I'm starting to think they ain't gonna give him the money. Yeah, in a perfect world, in a world where they're making smart decisions, but I don't know why y'all wasting y'all time holding out hope that they make him play on the 5th year. He getting paid. And I'm ready for it. I've already realized, hey, let's go. That's locking in a minimum of 3 years or more to a talk. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Shake Money, the homie. I've been a member for 35 months, man, going on 3 years of being a member in 1 month. Thanks, TD, for the content and not being a gatekeeper. Fins up, brother. You're welcome. And by the way, Shake Money, there ain't no gatekeepers in the Miami Dolphin community of content, okay? And that's coming from an OG doing this. There ain't no gatekeepers. Just make sure you, and I said that. You tell anybody that ain't no such thing in the Miami Dolphins community as a gatekeeper. Make sure we keep that straight, okay? Any and everybody welcome to speak their, to say their, what they got to say. Well, what am I peeing? But yeah, to his contract, ain't nothing much to say there. Can we not sign Tua? Yeah, we cannot sign him. But we will. I'm trying to tell y'all that, okay? Yes, there is a world where we say, hey, Tua, we're not going to pay you an extension. We want you to play on your 5th year. If he decides that if he doesn't want to play on it, he's sitting out. If he wants to play on it, then all right. And after this year, we have to decide if we want to franchise tag him or let him hit free agency. Okay. If we franchise tag him, then he's ours another year. Same thing the year after that. So, yeah. Any surprise moves that can be made? This was an interesting one to me. I haven't thought of any additional ones honestly, but you can look for Miami to potentially make a nice little trade from a team that's trying to unload some cap that realize, hey, we got a young rookie in camp that's really shining. Maybe we can afford to move on from this veteran linebacker making some solid money that we're not going to be able to afford the long-term deal. And those are the guys that get traded. So, yeah, so with that being said, I could see us making a huge little mini blockbuster move for an offensive lineman or a linebacker, something like that. And it got us like, whoa, nice little trade. He's a great tackler. He's a this and that, whatever. One of those good guys, not elite, not great, but he's a really good guy at his position. I can see Miami doing that. We got a little cash. I know they want to push everything they can over the next year, but we got some cash. Let me say this too. People keep spreading these false narratives about the salary cap. Like I saw a post the other day. Where are all those people that were panicking because we were negative 40 million in the salary cap, and here we are with one of the best rosters we've ever had, and we got 16 million. Yep. Let me help y'all understand something. All of these things are possible. The way that the Miami Dolphins are moving, just like the Cowboys moved for so many years, just like the Saints moved for so many years, stop looking at now. The decisions we're making right now are impacting our future gravely. So when you say things like, "This is one of the best rosters we've had," here's what you need to realize. We were negative 40 million with like 30 people on the roster, and we made it work to where we're positive 16 now with a full roster. Next year, we may begin the season like negative 20, 30 million with like 22 people under contract on the roster. It gets worse and worse. That's what people aren't paying attention to. It's going to get worse and worse. One of the big sacrifices we did make, though, was not signing Robert Hunt and Christian Wilkins. But the issue that nobody's talking about is, yeah, we've created a roster to make up for it right now, but not long term. Not long term. And you'll start to see over the next few years the impact that has on the team. You'll start to see. Next year, this team has so many gaps and holes in it. And a whole bunch of players without guaranteed money. Whole bunch. So you'll start to see the impact of it as time goes. But once the real dominoes fall, Javon Holland, Tua, they contracts, ain't no returning them. You ain't even got to wait to see the impacts. You'll start feeling them like immediately. You'll start to see the cap in the future start to be negative 60, negative 70 before the season start. Trying to figure out how to wheel and deal it. And yeah, we're not even talking about Phillips, but let's see how he does after the injury to see if they're going to even be considering giving him long-term money. But you'll see. Because a lot of people say, well, Greer found a way this year. We hope he did. See, this is what we always get caught in. Me saying we need a replacement for Christian Wilkins. He go get Calais Campbell. He got a caliber player of Christian Wilkins, but it's for 1 year, and then he's old. If Calais Campbell get hurt, knock on wood, in week 2, I'm right back to like, oh, here come the season. Changes the whole dynamic of the defense. But our roster's filled with situations like that. If Poyer get banged up like he was getting in Buffalo's losing a step, what we doing then? Oh, May. Oh, you see what I'm saying? So we've made some moves, right? But what we also don't realize is the moves we made were literal replacements. And those replacements, like, have we ever had a season where 5 to 12 people didn't get hurt, and last year might have been 20. I might be exaggerating, but you know what I mean. But have we ever had a season where at least 8 people didn't get hurt? So go through the roster and just start randomly picking 8. Even if you wanted to be favorable in the lesser of the 8, you still being a little concerned. And when I say the lesser of the 8, go through the list, take about 4 or 5 starters, take about 4 or 5 depth players in whatever order you want to take it. And this is typical of most teams. Where can you afford to absorb an injury? You see what I mean? And how does the team look if that happens? And the only thing you can hope for is how long they're injured. Like, dang, Raheem Mostert got hurt. At least we got A-Chain, so we can absorb one in the running back room, maybe. Dang, Waddle got banged up. At least we got Tyreek. We can absorb, but it's still a little tough. Thank God for OBJ, right? So see how they did make some moves to reinforce some areas a little bit. But then after those two, where are you gonna go to feel really good about if we lost somebody? You see what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. In injuries happen all the time, but they're more prominent the older you get. And a lot of the guys that we brought in as replacements are older guys. Calais Campbell has a much greater chance of getting injured than Christian Wilkins, in my opinion. So that's what you pay for when you cut corners to build a team. So we're always going to be hopeful that health is on our side, but we'll see. We'll see. Trey Holland, if you get number 1. Let's keep going, all right? Justin Simmons, would we win a championship? He'd be an excellent addition to the team. He once again get into that depth that we talking about, but he'll allow us to say, hey, if you did lose Poyer, it's okay. Or if you lost Simmons himself, at least we got Poyer. You see what I'm saying? So that would really fortify some of the depth. You got to prepare for your injuries. And the guys that you bring in as a backup, are they serviceable? They don't have to be elite like the previous guy, but are they good enough to where the ship can keep sailing? And I feel like we did a good job of that this offseason, getting some sailors that even if things go bad, we can at least the ship can keep moving. Doesn't mean it's going to turn into wins and success, but it can keep moving to where you can compete and not have like this drastic disadvantage. That's all you can ask for. So I like I said, I love to bring Simmons in to Miami. I think there's a lot of talent there that can help us. O-line if Armstead get hurt, more the same. We get the ball out quick, y'all. We get the ball out quick. So with or without Armstead, we're still serviceable. Like, y'all don't understand. We get the ball out so quick that it doesn't matter even if a player on the O-line get beat. See, again, I'm going to stick to this. Y'all think that we get rid of the ball quick because of the O-line, but no, our scheme and where Tua is most effective is getting rid of the ball quick. That's why I don't, and I understand we don't have a great O-line, but they also didn't want a great O-line. Remember, McDaniel told them, stop. No, don't get rid of these guys. No, let me explain to y'all how this works. I don't need a great O-line. He said, remember McDaniel in his press conference said, I had to sit everybody down and explain to them, the guys we got are good enough. We're just fine with them. The way my system is, it's okay. This is why I'm trying to tell y'all, stop knocking the fact that our O-line has a high, a low win rate. They lose all the time, but the ball already gone. So if they were winning, the ball would still already be gone. Like some of y'all act like Tua hike the ball and say, my first read is open, but I got more time to throw, so let me wait a little. No, our offense is built to get rid of the ball quick regardless. So if they do good or bad, the ball gone. Now, are there some occasions where, oh, look at the old line, they got beat and Tua had to rush? Yeah, but tell me what quarterback don't get that. Tell me what quarterback don't get that. AB said, what about running game? One of the best in the NFL. Did you not see what we did last year? And I know some of you are going to say, yeah, but against the great teams, we didn't do good, do the best at running at all. We was actually solid even against the good teams at running. But the problem is they kept giving us looks to guard against the run. They would have 7 and 8 in the box. And like any quarterback is instructed, you see 7 and 8 in the box, you know which pass option we going to. Everybody looking at each other, tapping the helmet. Yeah, I see 8 in the box. All right, we know what we're gonna do. Like that's basic football. Everybody like, well, we ain't keep running because we see an 8 in the box, and everybody know what we supposed to do. We know we switching to the pass play we got called here. 8 in the box. It's our advantage. And the sad thing is when they put 8 in the box and we do have an advantage. And when it don't work, it's because a specific somebody be misfiring or not reading where the pressure coming to hit the quick outlet. Yeah, let me get off of that. People understand. They just don't want to accept it because it falls on the quarterback. Should we clean house if we don't make playoffs? We gonna clean house even if we make playoffs. I mean, I don't get what does that mean? You got all these 1-year deals and 2-year deals with only 1 year guarantee. You better go through the roster salary caps. Next year, Poyer ain't gonna be here. May ain't gonna be here. Armstead ain't gonna be here. Chubb ain't gonna be here. You better hope Tyreek might not even be here. Raheem Mostert ain't gonna be here. OBJ ain't gonna be here. Braxton Berrios' time will finally come to an end. I mean, I can keep going. Fuller probably ain't gonna be here. The linebackers, all 50 of them we brought in, and defensive tackles, probably half of them ain't gonna be here. Go look at the contracts. It's already built to scrap it all. Now, if we go far like an AFC championship, I can see Chris Greer picking up a lot of these guys second year that doesn't have guaranteed money, but going ahead and saying, hey, let's run it back. But now, in order for me to do that, I need to shift some of this money to the future and restructure some of these guys and guys that we know we don't want to restructure. So, this year's a make or break. This year, make or break. With or without a true center, what's your thoughts? I think we'll be fine. The system that we run, again. Now, the only issue is when they send pressure up the middle, you know, a true center may be able to pick it up or understand what a defense is doing. But a lot of times defenses overload and send a free guy to Tua. Sometimes we think it's the O-line that's the issue. Sometimes we got 5 guys to block and 6 guys coming in. And we think that it's the O-line. No, schematically, people love sending the edge and the middle linebacker to like at the same time on us. Whatever the strong side is, not the strong side, but the weak side. So say we got 2 over here, 2 over here, and 1 in the backfield. Or we got 3 to the left, 1 to the right, and 1 in the backfield. They'll send the weak side linebacker and the middle linebacker. So if the running back run out, that outside linebacker coming in will just drop off and pick him up. If he ain't running out, he just coming to the quarterback. People love sending that weak side blitz on us, two guys, and two will see it coming quick. And that first read, they play it tight, they play it bump and run. So the first ain't there. That one hesitation, that reset to see, he getting demolished, or he's rushing to hurry up and get rid of it, or whatever happens. So I don't think it really matters based off our system, but Tua, this huge season for Tua. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Playoff win this season. First, we got to get to the playoffs. If we make it to the playoffs this year, I think I'll feel good about us winning a playoff game. Let me tell you why. And then I'm gonna get ready for the huddle. Well, I got a few more. Here's why. It's too early to say, but this is what's projected. Jets a playoff team. That's 2 games. Browns, San Francisco, Houston, Green Bay, Rams, Buffalo twice, Seattle, Jaguars. Projected, that's 11 playoff teams. Projected. Now, only 5 of them might make it. We don't know, but right now, projected, that's 11. So that means you got 6 games that's projected not playoff teams. 2 of them are the Patriots, Tennessee, Arizona, Colts, Raiders, maybe, right? If we make the playoffs, that means we won probably half, 4 or 5 of those playoff team games. So with that sample size in the regular season, that makes me feel like we can win a playoff game. So if we make the playoffs, I believe we can win a playoff game this year. Now, when it's all said and done, if 11 of these teams don't make the playoffs and only 5 of them do, that's a different story. So we'll see how it all ends up. I'm gonna pause right there. We got more to handle. I'll handle them later, maybe tomorrow. I probably won't work anymore tonight. It's me and the wife's anniversary. So yeah, it's our anniversary tonight. Today. So we're gonna be doing some stuff. So at the end of the day, this is probably, maybe, I don't know, it just depends on the night. This is probably it for me for the day. I'm going to go do the huddle right now, and then I'll pretty much see you guys tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Thank you to everybody who always shows love and support and not spreading hate and not trying to be divisive and, all that gatekeeping and all that ridiculous stuff. Just salute to everybody who just wants some good old-fashioned Miami Dolphins content, talking the ins and outs about the team, whether we agree or disagree, having those conversations, all right? Fins up to you all. I know some people have been dropping those cash apps, man. Like I said, anybody that want to donate to the channel, go ahead and send it to the cash app, TD Fins Talk, so I could just put that towards training camp, rental car, and all that crap, man. So love y'all. Fins up no matter what. Shout out to Ravens. Talk with Yolanda. Salute to you. Glad you're up in here. I will see y'all later. Keep up the work. Appreciate it, H. And listen, man, I hear y'all. I hear y'all love and I hear y'all support on a regular basis. Salute to you all. I'll see you soon. Come over to the huddle right now. All right. We got a good show for you all. Monday through Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. BetUS TV right here on YouTube. The Huddle. All right. Go to BetUS TV. You'll see us live at 3 p.m. Me, Dan, and Richie on the huddle. See y'all there. See you soon. Peace. I'm out.